Your homework for this week was the beginning of a new trilogy of directors for 2025 from Sir Cliff. First movie up is Jumpin' Jack Flash, and the director is Penny Marshall. Penny Marshall.
And do you know how she became the director of this film?
How?
Howard Zeif left the project, and they bumped her up to director. And this became her first movie.
Is that why she brought all her friends along?
Literally. I mean, I'm not
like every other scene, I'm like, oh, they're in this. Oh, they're in this.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure that it was one of those things where like she needed to she needed to do damage control, and that's why there's all these Penny Marshall buddies in there. I think that's what it was. It was like, yo, we need a director.
That makes sense.
And you come do this for scale, you're only going to do one scene.
Yeah, exactly. But like the thing is like, when you are a beloved personality, and she very much was, people are happy to do it for you.
Oh,
yeah.
And you could just bang it out in an afternoon probably. So it's funny you brought that up because I did think about that after I found out that she wasn't even, it wasn't even like planned for her to do this movie. It was like, all right, we need somebody. You're up. This is it. Go. You're yes. So
I mean, not that this movie needed to be a big sweeping epic,
right?
But you can tell. Maybe now knowing that, maybe it makes a little more sense. There's very few set pieces. It takes place in about 3 places, so maybe they had to scale it back after they cut him. And
yeah, exactly. Because I think but the thing is, like, she clearly did a great job. I think they did a great job. Now, Penny Marshall had a little bit of pressure because this would be Whoopi's very next movie after The Color Purple.
Yes.
And so like this movie had to work, right?
Yeah.
And so there was and again, this is all just stuff I've read about the movie without deep context. So I imagine that, but it looks like everything I've seen, it looks like everyone had a really great time and they just got in there and they're like, we're doing it, And it's funny how you said there's so few set pieces, but yet, I love the bank,
Yeah.
The bank reminded me of like going to the bank with my grandmother when I was a little boy, in the city. It's just so funny.
So Jumpin' Jack Flash, an American computer whiz who works at a New York bank, is suddenly thrust into the world of international espionage after she inadvertently receives a coded message from a British spy.
Okay, Richard Guy, does that fit the movie? This is gonna be your segment from now on. Every time we read this,
I would say it's pretty close.
Pretty close. Okay.
I would say.
Yes.
What I would say though, maybe I'll save it for later.
No, you gotta save nothing for later. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I would say is watching this movie. Well, two things. Well, the big thing is watching this movie, and I've never been a huge computer guy, but even watching this movie, I'm like, anybody that knew computers back in the 80s knew that that's not how that worked. It's fine. I'll let it go for a movie. So not believable, though. And they never explain why, if he's in Russia or wherever he's supposed to be, why he contacted a bank in New York City. Just a random bank in New York City.
I think because it was back in the days of only dial-up, I think he was trying to reach out and connect, and he connected to this number and got her, on that connection that she uses to communicate with clients.
Right.
Also remember the computer. The computer was receiving messages from Russia, signals from Russia. Remember that?
Yeah,
So,
that was
that's a really
that wasn't like that was not a real thing.
No, that's not a real thing, but that's their connection of why his transmission went to her computer.
But you know what's really funny is that can be a real thing now. Why is my machine getting pinged so hard? What's going on? It's like Russia, like that could actually happen. But back then, not quite. I think if I were gonna dial this back more to real life for back then, it would be phone numbers from Russia trying to connect. That would make more sense until it connected.
Maybe.
I
mean, if you see the movie War Games, and obviously War Games is a fantasy movie, whatever.
Yes.
But the
Classic.
logic makes a lot more sense.
It is classic.
Because
Yeah.
he's actually trying to dial into something specific, doesn't realize he dialed into the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Thinks it's, you know.
Do you want to play a game?
And we get our first taste of AI, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our first taste of AOL Messenger.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm. You know, in this movie, what was annoying was every time that she would type, and I'd be like, "You are not typing all. I know how to type." You said like 3 words, and you typed about 1 million letters for that 3 words.
Well, or she would say way more than she was typing anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, they always made the typing back in these movies, and even a little bit today, but especially back then, all that typing sound to intensify the drama. You know,
Yeah.
like they had a very their original communication was very playful, and now it became very serious. You know,
Yes.
and then she's just like, "Oh shit, what's actually happening here?" You know,
And that's why before we started the show, that's why me, Phil, and Sam was talking about. I want to get a new keyboard so I can hear that click clacking when I be typing. That's why. That's why.
Yeah. And a mechanical keyboard is good because you're using like the WASD keys for like movement in your first-person shooters, and if you push like the W down a little bit, they'll walk instead of run. So it's like
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's a good keyboard to have for gaming.
What are some of our favorite moments from this movie?
Chocolate Whizway. When she's
What
talking
part
to
is
the
that?
boss about whatever, he says something or other, and she goes, "You better back up," and I'm going to take this and shove it up your chocolate Whizway.
I actually like
she's been cursing the whole movie. And
Yeah.
that's-
very early on where she's trying to figure out the lyrics to Jumping Jack Flash, and it's like a song everybody has heard like a zillion times.
Right.
I thought, and plus she's like playing it on a cassette tape and stuff. I was like, all right, this is probably pretty funny.
I
She's
love
like rewinding it all the time, just to like, what are you saying, man?
her getting stuck in the glass door at the embassy.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's the thing that made me laugh too. She's like, "Well, I can't just go into the embassy." I'm like, "You can go in.
Yeah,
They don't just won't let you walk around, but you can certainly walk into the embassy."
Yeah.
That and remember when the cops arrest her later? So the way international law works is the land that embassy on is English sovereign land. So the cops wouldn't just walk in; they have to be invited in to come get her.
Yes. Because it's out of their jurisdiction to
Right.
just randomly walk into one of those.
How about the lip syncing scene at the Queen's Ball?
Oh my god, I love that.
Oh, yeah, but none of her lip syncing matches.
No.
It's so off.
I like how she had the tape player like part of the suit, part of the dress.
Yeah.
That was pretty dope. Her getting into that room though was a little shaky.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, this movie's so old. We have to use more suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was the one you had a problem with, not her being dragged down the street in a telephone booth.
Telephone.
Nobody calling the cops on that.
Oh, how about the dudes coming up to
1986.
clean the windows? The dude's cleaning the windows of the phone booth. Like what? What are you doing?
Let's be clear. There are worse things that have happened in public, and no one told.
I don't disagree. However, this is like Midtown Manhattan. This is happening. It's not like.
And also, no one had a cell phone then. And then if they did see it, they're like, "Oh, do you have a quarter? Do we even care?" Like that's how it would have been. They would have just gone right back. Dude, one time I busted my ass in the Heights. I dropped comic books all over the floor in a pool of chocolate milk. No, not only did not one person offer to help me, this old man sitting on a stoop across the street was laughing his ass off at me. So
I'm still heartbroken about the chocolate milk getting on the comic books.
That's heartbreaking. That's heartbreaking.
Is she supposed to be like poor or like, kind of mid-level, needs more money?
No, she actually. So basically, she's a realistic New Yorker. They gave her a real apartment for somebody with
that
a
apartment's
salary.
pretty big.
Yeah, well, no, but she does work for a fancy bank.
Okay.
So like that's it.
Yeah.
That's as far as we can go. She's
Rent,
a tech
when,
nerd.
rent wasn't as high as it is today.
Well,
No, but
rent,
it's
rent
no,
control.
I mean,
yeah.
it wasn't a big difference from when her apartment was and when they trashed it. Let's put it that way. I was like,
Well, and
it's
then
not much
I
of
was
a big
cleaning it
difference.
How about when the lady Sarah shows up right here? I was cleaning it up, and you see behind you, like, you didn't clean that all up right
No.
now. No way.
I do like how she's kind of like smitten for Jack, even though she's never met him before.
Mhm.
Let me
Yeah, I
get
mean,
to that. I'll get to that in a minute.
it's a little smitten for him. What else?
I love that it's an 80s movie, but some of the stuff she's wearing in this movie, I'm like, what are you doing? And she so stands out from everybody else walking down the street. Like, I get everyone has their own style, but it is so, like, we got to make sure.
I feel like
everyone
how
knows
she
this is an
dresses
80s
is
movie.
very normal for today. Like people
Mm.
dress like that all the time today.
Those
Yeah.
huge
Back then, no,
trench coats.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. If
yeah.
you ever watch
She loves that
there's
stuff.
There's this NBA player named Kyle Kuzma. Google him and his outfits. You'll see.
I know who Kyle Kuzma is.
Yeah.
He's lucky he can afford those, anything he wears.
Right.
So at the end, she finally, the whole point of the story was that Jack was in Russia and that they were keeping him from coming back to America. The whatever other side was trying to stop him from coming back. But she finally figures out, she talks to the right people, gets him to connect, and he gets to come home. The end of the movie where she's at dinner.
Yeah.
And she's waiting for Jack. He doesn't show up. The other guy comes in. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Jack can't come." This and that.
Well, how
He's
about the
caught
guy
up.
that does show up? You're like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
And then when you see Jack, you're like, whoa, that's a step.
I was, yeah. Like I was like, wow, Jack, you don't look like a spy or anything. You look just like a regular old
Like, I
Jack.
understand you don't have to have
Regular commoner.
leading man show up at the end, but like, don't
Right.
show that guy and then show a gargoyle right afterward. And then I'm supposed to believe there's a love connection? No.
Was Batman standing on the shoulders?
Yeah, right.
I thought it probably would have been better if he showed up in like a 007 suit and
Yeah.
he said something like, "I just wanted to fit the part." You know what I mean? That would have been cute. But he just looked like a regular dude. Like, "Hey, I'm here to take you to dinner." And I was like, "Okay,
My members only jacket.
yeah,
Yes.
members only." Wow.
You know what?
We should bring that back.
But for somebody who was trapped in Russia, I felt like it made sense.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
yeah,
gotta
but not trapped in Russia. Like, just got off the plane from Russia. He was in London for how many days?
I know, but
Yeah.
what if he's the one who doesn't have the real nice payroll?
I mean, he's got a really nice apartment.
Yeah, he does have a nice apartment. I liked his apartment.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty cool. That was one creepy part. The picture
Yeah,
on the door.
yeah.
I was like, that's creepy.
That is creepy.
That was real creepy. And what was it? James Belushi was the. Wait, is that James Belushi? Yeah. The brother, right?
Yeah.
It's James Belushi.
Yeah.
He plays the person trying to get her.
Well,
I didn't understand where he came to the computer where she was, and then she's like, "Oh, let me just make a call," and then he just disappears. Like, if your reason was there to kill her, you didn't do anything. You just went there, and
Suspense.
yeah, I guess. What Kamara said, did they ever explain the picture? I think I might have missed that part. Well, remember the door was creepy. It was open, so they're
And then it
insinuating that he took the picture before she saw the door thing, and then it closed. So, but how did the picture get on the door?
No, he took
Was it already on the door?
She came in and closed the door. She
Right.
looked over at one point and the door was open, but it wasn't moving. And then she went to look at the picture of Sarah, the Sarah Sinai or whatever. And then here's the door closing, and that's when the picture's on the door. So he put it on, and then it closed as he was leaving.
Okay. All right, let's get some numbers on this movie. Phil, you're up. What are you giving Jumpin' Jack Flash?
I am giving Jumpin' Jack Flash 7. like I said, no, the IMDb gives it a 5.9.
Phil's being very generous, is what he's saying. I'm being very generous over here.
So, like I'm giving it a 7. It sort of holds up still today, and there are like maybe a few good chuckles in it. But it's still kind of pretty enjoyable. Like we said, like we know like telecommunications were a little bit off for this movie at the time. There's definitely like a lot of things like like everybody's stereo had cassette decks, record players on them when you seen them and stuff like that. Like the phone booth scene, like you're seeing phone booths in the city. Like there's the World Trade Center is right in like the opening shot. But like story wise, it's not something you would watch for like like don't hold this for like a cohesive like this story is like could be a true story.
Oh no.
Okay.
So,
All right.
but still 7. Still pretty enjoyable.
All right, 7. See
Almost 40 years
Bizzle.
later.
I'm actually going to give it a little bit higher. I'm giving it a 7.5, so a little bit more generous. I enjoyed this. It was good laughs. Always been a huge fan of Whoopi Goldberg, the actress and the comedian. And like I said, it has a lot of nostalgia feels. Like when this came out, I was 7 years old. So I see a lot of stuff that reminds me of, even though I was in New York, we still had similar lives in the city of Detroit. So it's a lot of good nostalgia pieces in this film. The comedic points on this is very good as well. So that's why I want to give it a solid 7.5.
All right, green shirt guy.
Did you just skip me?
Yeah,
You're
it's your
last.
movie. You
You're
go
last.
last.
You go last.
Oh, it's my movie. I go last.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
When I watch old 80s movies now, I try to stay in that genre, but I also think to myself, would this still be a movie like this movie's rated R? Would this still be a rated R movie today?
No.
If you take out the cursing,
The
it's
cursing does it.
This is the cursing that
cursing
makes
is
it
all the F
rated
words. If
R.
you take the F words
Yeah.
out, it's not.
Yeah, it's definitely
It's
not.
PG-13, all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Cursing was some of the best parts.
The scene
Yeah.
where
I
she's
agree.
in the computer room at the consulate on the 3rd floor doing her thing and her dress gets caught in the shredder was
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
But in my head, I'm going, you work at a bank. There's no way you don't know how to use a paper shredder. There's
Well,
no
it's for
chance
comedy.
you've never used a
Yeah.
paper, and you can hit off.
comedy, and now she's in a dangerous situation, so she's bumbling through it.
It's fine. I'm just saying. I did enjoy the fact that the bad guy at the end had an Uzi, because I hadn't seen one of those in forever. That's fully the 80s movie thing, because Uzi was so
Every villain had a Uzi in
and
the
the guy's
80s.
just spraying bullets.
But
all
he
over the
started
place.
spraying the Uzi toward one of his own people that was down there.
100%.
Just-
Hitting, and not
you
hitting
doing?
anything he's trying to hit.
That's what the 80s villains do. They didn't care.
Yeah.
So what was your number?
And then remember the scene where she's on the street and the 3 thugs, if you will, come up and are trying to proposition her.
Juana Man was one of those.
Did you hear some of the things they were saying?
Mm-mm.
They're trying to get with it. I don't remember what the lead up to is. And she's like, I'm not going to go with you. And she says, I got the that'll make your dick fall off. And the guy replies, my dick glows in the dark.
Yeah.
I was crying laughing. That
Wow.
made me laugh. So yeah, it was enjoyable. It's a decent 80s movie. I give it a 7.
7. I will also give it a 7. I thought it was enjoyable. Nice, nice little movie. I thought it was paced very well. You're always going from one thing to the next. So Penny Marshall knew, all right, I gotta get this pacing right. She did that. I love the little nostalgia moments just from watching the 80s. One of my big ones was when she walked into Jack's apartment and the video cassette holders for the VHS holders up there. I was like, oh my God, because that just brought back so many memories of being at my cousin's house and they had so many video things. I was like, oh man, that's dope. But I thought Whoopi was really good in this. Yeah, I'll give it a 7. Clifford!
Cliff, do you know if Jumpin' Jack Flash was the original song choice?
Oh yeah, it was the original song choice, and they got what's his name,
Mick Jagger.
Mitch. No. Wait, is it Mick Jagger or the other dude?
Well, Tina Turner does a version at the end, but
No, Aretha Franklin.
Oh,
does it.
Aretha Franklin does
It's
it.
Aretha Franklin, and Keith Richards produced it himself.
oh, nice. Nice.
Yes.
So many good.
So,
So many good.
Talk about collaboration. I'm just
Yes.
so like when I found out that Keith Richards was like, oh, I want to produce, like when else am I gonna get to work with Aretha Franklin? Like I got chills. I just thought that was amazing, and I guess because I just love what this movie. Is it weird to say I love what this movie represents? Young Whoopi. The first. Our first director outing, the fact that it was like, oh, this wasn't even her film and this was like her shot, and it was like, you got to make this work. And I don't know, outside of that, this movie genuinely made me laugh a lot. Mm-hmm. And I felt many of the things that Steven said he felt. There was, and even what Sam said, there's just certain moments in the movie that just take you back to that time, right? Yep. So I'm also going with a solid 7.5.
Woo!
Okay, equal divided by 5. It's a 7.2. That's decent. That's very decent. Yeah, so nice job.
We boosted the IMDb rating up a little bit on that one.
Yeah, we pushed that up there a little bit. All right, next movie up on the roster.
Side note: Young Whoopi was still good looking. I don't care what nobody said.
Yeah, she looked good. She was in that dress. I was like, go ahead, Whoopi. Mm-hmm. Like, go ahead. Next up is Big. We're doing Big. That's
Cliff,
a classic.
You're gonna hit me right in the feels with this one.
That's a classic right there. Next Sunday, Film Box Office News episode 31, 5 p.m., 2 p.m. Pacific. Tom Hanks Big.
I really had a hard time choosing film number 2 because I knew where I wanted to be at film number 3. And like film number 2, I wanted something that like really represented her peak, and I felt like this was the one.
It's a great movie. I can't wait to watch it again.
It's on Hulu and Disney Plus. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
excellent. All right, so make sure you tune in next Sunday, 5 p.m., 2 p.m. Pacific for that. Tomorrow.
The energy flow. So intense how the energy glow. When my energy low, that's when my enemy show. I let my enemies know. My enemy's soul and burn my enemy's gold. Yeah, intent's amazing. Spider-Man villain, Clark Kent, Bruce Wayne, all the same villains. Jokers, goblins, Luther's the president. Catwoman, let the venom in. I'm dealing with these penguins that want me to kneel before Zod. It's a job for Castle. Through roads like a war machine to find Destro's castle. Xavier schools filled with fools, teaching young mutants how to misuse the powers with which we all fuse. America's frozen in ice. Wonder Woman's disappeared into the night. So Wonder Girl wanders through the years, wondering why no one can explain the tears. Causing havoc, seduced by Madeline, lost a limbo with magic. Black is like the brightest.